What's up, you Dan fam? Today we're going to the Ronald Reagan Library.
Welcome to the White House. Marine One will be landing momentarily, bringing the President and First Lady home to what many call the People's House. The White House grounds occupy 8.
Welcome to the Oval Office. Though I spent years in this office, I never thought of it as mine. I was just the latest temporary occupant in a long and distinguished line. Earlier still, Queen Victoria presented the magnificent desk to President Rutherford B. Hayes, crafted from the timbers of Her Majesty's ship, Resolute. It's an enduring symbol of friendship. While I loved the desk, I must admit that it wasn't perfect. In fact, carpenters had to raise the desk a couple of inches. It was either that, or I would have had to lower my knees. The cumulative weight of so much history is inescapable. One feels surrounded by illustrious predecessors, so much so, in fact, that out of respect for this office and the events which have transpired in it, I almost never remove my suit coat. Of course, you can take your work seriously without taking yourself that way. Among the signs on the desk is one that reads, "There is no limit to what a man can do or where he can go. He doesn't mind who gets the credit." Not a bad philosophy, especially in Washington, D.C., a city of tall monuments and even taller egos. Still, the Oval Office is much more than a voting pulpit. In many ways, it is a mirror held up to the American people. I look forward to meet a cross-sampling of American heroes, whether that's throwing a ball, protecting a neighborhood, or hugging a child. And the world came calling as well. Mother Teresa visited this room. So did Margaret Thatcher and Mikhail Gorbachev. Unfortunately, for all the power possessed by an American president, there are some things beyond his control. Here I met with hostages, newly released from the hell of Beirut. I'll never forget the feeling of horror that accompanied the explosion of the Challenger space shuttle. On the morning I invited congressional leaders to hear a tape recording of a Soviet pilot locking on to the ill-fated Korean flight 007. It still chills my blood to think of those 269 innocent passengers. And it was here that I first learned of Nancy's impending cancer surgery. So you see, you don't just give speeches in the Oval Office. You also say prayers. Above all, you pray for peace.
Mr. President, your meeting is starting.
So, goodbye. God bless you.
That's all I saw. I can't read everyone else's name.
Oh my god, their faces.
You're full now, so
Yeah. So if you look around here, you get an idea what President Reagan was like. He was an avid. He loved California. He loved the Southwest, and you see some things in here that a lot of the colors are very soft tones. For example, like these pillows here, those are pillows that were actually at the White House, the Oval Office in D.C. And they kind of look like, the sunsets of the desert. On the far side here, going around, like I said, we had Paul Rossi sculptures of the saddles, of the American saddle, the genesis of the American saddle for 1510 to 1920. People always ask about the Resolute desk. I don't know if you know much about the Resolute desk, but what it was Queen Victoria sent out the HMS Resolute to try to look for the Northwest Passage. It became icebound. It was icebound for about a year, and this was in 1851. It eventually broke free from the ice. It was found floating around Baffin Bay. There was a New England whaling ship in Baffin Bay, hooked onto it, brought it back to New England. It was retrofitted by a salvage company, paid for by the U.S. government. They sailed it back to Britain, given back to the Queen. And what she did, when she decommissioned the HMS Resolute, she made 3 desks of the timber from the ship. 2 of the desks were called ladies' desks. One was called a partner's desk. This is actually called a partner's desk because that front panel never used to be there, so 2 people could actually work at the desk. There was 2 modifications made to this desk. In 1945, when FDR was president, he was really self-conscious about being in a wheelchair and being in braces, so he wanted that front panel put on. And that was in 1945. Unfortunately, he didn't get to see its completion because he passed away. But what's unusual about the front panel is if you look at the presidential seal, the eagle's head is pointing towards the arrows and not towards the olive branches. And the second modification was when President Reagan was in office, he'd always bang his knees getting under that desk. He brought his chair from Sacramento. It didn't really adjust. So he told the White House carpenter, you either have to lower my knees or raise the desk. So what they did is they put 2 inches on the bottom of the desk. Okay? Any questions?
Okay, you get ready for the state dinner? then if you look at his desk, there's a third phone, a white rotary one. And what made that unique is when it was on the ground, they would plug it into the phone lines at the airport. So it was truly a landline.
Did it get knocked down? Is it not a home run? What?
Yeah, we kept our info.
And they finally did.
3.5 floppy disks.
Yeah. Like
Hi
this is
there.
the mouse.
You know, it is a little crowded. They have an extra seat in there.
so funny.
Sometimes there would
Little
be an
mouse.
extra pilot that would fly along. Or President Reagan, a lot of times would sit there and talk to the
In the
pilot.
old
She had a very
office, too,
good
they had
rapport with the
Yeah, he
pilot.
seemed like he was always very
Not a bad
personable
thing to
with
do.
staff and stuff.
You know, I had someone on one of the tours I was giving, and he used to fly a commercial pilot from a small charter, and he would go from Santa Monica to Sacramento or something. He had 2 stories. He goes, once I was taking Pat Brown, who was before President Reagan.
There's only so much space you have. But I can see that. Yeah, a lot of
Didn't you like jelly beans? You noticed jelly beans?
He loved jelly beans.
See?
Actually, these are jelly bellies.
Oh, jelly beans.
That's a real person. You know you're a real person.
Stand at attention, soldier.
This cabin was used by White House staff members. 2 people who always flew here. One was the president's doctor, and the other was the military aide representative.
What was the cake on board? President Reagan's ideas. Like celebrate birthday anniversary. You like teacups?
There's a cake.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Use caution. Wait, I don't have to duck.
It's his little seat here. That's exactly for Teddy.
You're not the president yet.
Yet. I love how you said yet.
Yet.
Future Madam President. Did you take a picture at the podium with the teleprompter?
Yes.